we'll probably share one or two reasons why the devil will then focus on the family. All right? You will agree with me that you can't revive the church if the families are not revived, because the church is composed of families. If the families are fighting and there's separation and there's war, that war will be carried into the church. Because those warring families, as well, will be the very ones who populate our churches on Sabbath. So if we talk about revival, we'll be fooling ourselves if we think we can have revival in a church when our families are in tatters, when our families are scattered and our families are conflicted. We can't have the revival. Unfortunately, in our church, generally, we do not usually take the families very seriously. We think about families, and they can lead and be strong in the church, regardless of their family background. Now, I will not say it now, probably will say it later. It is also true that if we are having families that have problems, and then our leaders are coming from those families that have problems, then our churches will have problems. Because you can't fail to lead your home and think you're going to lead a church. That is why the Bible says those who want to be leaders in the church, especially your elders and your pastors, must prove who go to now they can lead their own families. Alright? Now, usually when we're looking for an elder or for a pastor, we don't care what the problem is with the family. As long as he's married, whether happily married or not, we don't care. And yet we expect he's going to lead the families when he can't lead a family, his family. Right, then on Thursday, we will talk. Today we want to talk about family in general, family, parents and children. And then on Thursday we'll talk particularly about the husband and the wife, how they should relate. Because that's the center of the family. Now, in a married setup, the family can be composed of a single parent and children. That's a family. Right? So when we say family, let's not quickly think married, husband and wife, children. That's a family. A family can be children only with no parents. Child-headed families, still a family. Okay? A family can be, in South Africa, a man and a man who are married and they have adopted children because they can't have children. Then that's a family also. Whether we like it or not, it's a family. And very soon we'll be dealing with those families and there's nothing we can do. We'll have to work with them and encourage them and teach them how to communicate with each other. What are you going to do? If you ask couples to come and then there's a man and a man who comes as a couple, you chase them.
Yeah, look in this church.
They are supposed to catch I said, fool, I want to shake it. Why not divorce? Then you shut the opposite sex. You're going to say that, oh, the fact that you don't approve of it doesn't mean on this day you can destroy it. Keep wishing, keep thinking that you can do that. Once your child gets married, your child will come one day and say, meet my girlfriend, and it's another boy. Or meet my girlfriend, another girl, and she's a girl. Or who's a color too, Pamela. Who's color too. All right. For us to appreciate the revival and what it means to our church and our family, especially following the topic, we first of all need to agree over why do we marry. It's a very difficult thing to answer, especially when a person wants to get married now. Why do I marry? So, but we need to at least agree with it. It's important to know why we get married. In some few years ago, we used to marry, or people used to marry in order to get forum. There was a law that you can't, as a bachelor, be allowed to own a house. So it would be very wise for you to get married in order to get a house. Okay? Now, I also know of some families when the subsidy, and there was a law during the whole subsidy thing, especially for blacks, that you can't get a subsidy from the government if you're not the head of the household. You remember those things? So now, if you're a teacher or a nurse and married to your husband who's not, and you apply for a subsidy, no, you're not the head of the household. So families divorced in order to get a subsidy. But we ask the to Satan, says that I'm able to cause a toilet. So they divorced. But divorce. They through, and then mama applies for it. Because I shall go to. But the animals divorce on paper, say, I still have a Satan. Ah, it's a one show. I said, I get you. I'm shut down and I'm divorcing. But those were the conditions and those were the factors in those days that existed. That defined what a family is and the importance of the family. Of course, after getting a house, you don't need a wife. You can just get rid of her or get rid of him and stay in your forum. But there are other reasons that we know that we always share and give us the reason why we should be married. And one of those is that from the Bible we read it is not good for men to be alone. So we say, therefore I want to get married. Now that's a good reason, except that it was for Adam, not for you. When God made that statement, it was not referring to you. It was only to Adam. Nowhere else in the scripture do you hear that it's not good for men to be alone. It was only in Genesis and only for Adam. Now, when you are going to establish a doctrine and want to apply it in your life, you can't have just one text for it. If it's a doctrine that people should marry, and it's not good for them not to marry, you can't just have one line, one verse. Alright? So we must conclude therefore that, yes, that was the reason, but it was meant for Adam. It was not good for Adam. It doesn't mean it's not good for you to be alone. Because once you say that you're going to be in trouble, you will say when Christ, who came here and never got married, it was not good for him to be alone. So we had a Christ who actually contradicted God's requirement. He used to have a shadow, and yet it takes it is not good for men to be alone. They are in trouble. Actually, I'm not on that point. Paul even says, I wish that all of you were like me. And he was not married. Or maybe they say he was single. Because by the time he brought that statement, he was not having a wife, he was single. I wish they never did that. So why would Paul say it is good to be like me when the Bible says it is not good for men to be alone? So you can't apply that to yourself. Why for shorter? If it was for me, maybe as a shorter, come push her in the text, it is not good for men to be alone. Otherwise, I'm foolish, I'm man. Tell us the truth. Okay, there are two reasons why it was not good for Adam to be alone. One, if we read from Genesis 1:26-7, it says, God created men and women in his image, which means both men and women are actually in the image of God as men and women. In Genesis 1, there is no, then God created Adam and then later created Eve. It's like he created them. Men and women created them in his image. So there's every reason to believe that for the image of God to be fully reflected, men and women must exist. One man alone, a male, does not properly reflect the image of God. So when you have a male and a female together, they reflect the image of God. Alright? Because they are, if you have male only, and it's creating the image of God. But if you look at a female, there are things that females are able to do that males cannot do. So when you bring the male and the female, they complement. So what the man cannot do, the female can do. Bring them together, then you get the perfect image of God. All right. So we can say that they always say women can multitask. So if female and male are in the image of God, which means God can multitask, So if there was no male, female would never know that God can multitask. Now we know because females and men, males and females are created in the image of God. Another reason why it was not good for men to be alone is that God had instructed them to multiply. How are you going to multiply when you are alone? So in that sense, it was not good for Adam to be alone because he was not going to be able to multiply being alone. So it was important for God to create a woman so that multiply the person. Who is telling that as a homosexuality, that child will go but if the women are cast by Adam and they come with that argument, because of for what people call people pillar, we don't also know come to an indoor than indoor. Now, most of us are seasons, we press our doctor, and I'm just kind of fully. Others, the rest of us are very true until you show it up. And imagine a child growing in a family where there's a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. Who had to have mama, and I was not talking about that, it was Toloma, or Bobby Roma. Could have think to one as I told, nothing told. Lord have mercy, this is the time. I have a mom's called. Call homosexuals like what? I see this listening about to that thing. Because call them about question about as homosexuals. About to hear all right, another reason we give for getting married. Because if we are going to revive the family, then we need to look at the reasons why we are getting married also. So that those reasons must be in line with the Bible, so they can actually fit in on the mission and the purpose of families. Another reason why people get married is that they want to be happy. Oh, I'm not miserable from shot man. I'm not miserable chilling out. So when I have a formula with that, I'm not going to shut this over. And the problem with that kind of a thinking, you're going to, I'm miserable, I want to get married. That's the reason why we are not married. Because you're miserable. I can't go from shut to be miserable. So you know why we are still singing. It is because you'll be happy when you get married. But if you touch a chance, I shall get home to miserable. Your master to miserable, big again. And number two, if to be happy is the reason why we get married, which means if your partner also is miserable. Now, if you child with an eye, full happiness, now full happiness, means I turn on bad miserable. Is that okay? So you've got two guys who are miserable, and they come together and they hope they'll produce happiness. Now, when both of you are miserable, the answer is two miserable people. And then the next thing, because both of you are miserable, they say, I spend God, it's a sneaker, he happiness. But then once you turn from each other, imagine I is a time. Home that I'm sleeping, the happiness. I has moved. You have useless. Home that needs to come into a happy family. I has to see happiness here. Amen? All right. Why do you want to get married? Of course, honestly, you want to have children. I think must never do anything and shut down and no. So we want to shut. So we shut the door. You see, that's why Marshall Moscas are going to tell with high, no saying that in the area 5 years ago, also you're from first, then from first. That's why you must be clear about shutting up the phone. I think for our God, with a whole lot of especially. Because we are running a risk. What if I'm going to put our God? What if we're like a yellow for our God? I was wearing such. Who put it on? Was it an hour? The next thing we play about Baba, play more Mama, and have a drug. And in most cases, sick level was you who was our God. Amen. Atramato was an auto. yomntana idependwa iqhubeka ubaba not umama. Awufunda biology mphathela amantombazana sengiyahamba so asabe ufuna i-girlfriend awufuna i-girlfriend umfana hambe khangela ama-girlfriend umfatana uyasebenza kahle athole i-girlfriend asethola umfana wangithi wena mphathela amantombazana awuhlakaniphanga yazi awuhlakaniphanga ufuna i-criminal yazi uhleli uthi wami ufisetufa ufuna umfana akhulu umfana abesisigebe yalikho ufuna yena esagijimisa wami isibrade lesagijimisa angithi kukufuna ndifikile bazi uthini akulande yonke indaba uzohlakanini. All right, we are not saying akho right balabantwana. Are you with me? We are saying it's right, but all we are saying is but you can't make that admission. You can't make that admission. Otherwise you end up having 9 children. You can't make that admission. Akusasetyenzwa nzima manje la ufuna ukubekela abantwana abaninzi bazokusiza ekusebenzeni. All right? Okay, the last one. Maybe there are many others that you can share with me. Maybe I can ask you. What's another one? Why we get married? Any cost way?
To share cost.
You share cost. Yeah, that's a good economic one. Your wife not so well. Which means if you are going to share cost, you look short to no man. If you look short to no senator, sometimes will increase the cost. So if you want to share cost, you know, because about time, the job you call on, what if you tell them don't go as a share issue cost? What's about cost here? Did I say I don't want this food that's done? Tell us who cost them before. You know, you can say money needs a very lot of money. All right, what's another reason? What's another reason why we get married?
Social
what? Social status approval. So that because I'm telling the challenge. Because I'm the challenge about which is true. I'm telling them the challenge one. Why are Shatan? Don't call it wrong. Do you know which one who food is on Shatan? About Shatan up to what? As in 10. Ukshaka kwanza uhlonipheke kubele isidingo lapho yabona naba ngoscars banokuthatha ama-chance ukudele because ngenza ngifihle dignified, you know, because I'm with my wife. Can you imagine if they have a new one? That's going to be tough. All right, especially mama wama one amasabaka azokubulisa athi awufundisa ubona unjani awufundisa bathokoze bezilangela yabo ngoscars abese hambela le awethu umfundisi hawu unjani yamthanda mama bengazana kusasa ngizela abasayizobulisa namempe izobulisa oh Lord have mercy. All right, what's the last one? What's another one? To have sex, what's another one? Food is an Indian small mamas. All right, that's a good reason. Paul says if you come to mainstreaming and must get married, don't bear, don't get married. I show that. They want fun and I'm going to say or I shall dance that is all right. So that's a good reason. But you can't make that the reason. The main reason why you're getting married. Are you with me? As much as it does have a role, a part to play in marriage, but you can't really to because there are many things that can happen in marriage that can make you not be able to do what you thought you married for. You know, there are many sicknesses. We are shy, stroke, we were paralyzed, so it's about kitchen and all the you can't. So there has to be, as much as it is important, but you can't make it the main reason. Is that okay? All right. Now, I don't know what are the good reasons why we should marry. But for me, it would be best for us to know the importance of a family first before we can decide whether we want to get married or not. And this is what I want us to look at. All right? A home is a training school for children. A home is a training school. Also, to you want to establish a training school. Are we together? Once you finish in full shot, which means you want to establish a training school. Now, if you want to establish a training school, are you qualified to train? Because you can't run a school better, but otherwise you won't train at home. Because you are starting at home, you're going to be the principal trainer, and with your partner, the question that I should ask is, we are a trainer, which means you can't think of starting a family when you yourself are not qualified. So get matured, know what life is all about before you can train people for life. You can't train people about life which we are now telling us no one do. So we don't expect 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds and whatever year-olds that are not mature to even think of marriage, because marriage is starting a school. Okay? Deuteronomy 6 verse 6 to 7. You remember the text? It says, and all these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach diligently to your children. Who's going to do that? Yeah, the parents. Teach them to your children. You shall teach them and you shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk, by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. In other words, your whole life and activity in the home is going to be this one big major training. When you walk, when you lie, when you wake up, you're going to be teaching your children. These words that I command you. Now, what if when you don't even understand those words? So which means if you're going to be training children to understand the words of God, to understand the law of God, you, the one that is being instructed, should actually know that. Am I right? You should know the word of God. So you can teach your children. I don't know Ellen White says, the early training of children is the most important thing that we should never forget. Because the lessons learned during that childhood are actually the determining factor. They remain with him or her for the rest of their life. From the ages of 1 to 7, 1 to 8, the child, the foundation has been laid for that child. And that's the time when parents divorce. Just when the child is trying to build the foundation, the child is left confused. That's the time when we don't even care for our children. What the wrong aunt was saying, our police, our child is cooking the whole day. We are late. And that's the time when you should be laying the foundation. And your child grows with no proper instruction. And he becomes a rapist. If you are busy, don't have children. If you are busy trying to make money, don't have children. You can't be making money and then bring up children. Children need the parents, the ones who brought them. They need you, not somebody else. Abafuna aunt was next door, or aunt was next door. Bafuna where? Or aunt was the suit. I'm going to talk about and then I didn't ask put my course down. You don't even do interviews. Some of these people who look after your children are wizards, are witch doctors. What kind of target? And then they come and bring up your children the whole day. Instead of children of target. Yo, you feel alive. Nobody has said my family are carrying a for the whole day. My family has fighting me. When you're mama, I'm not one time you try to say, at the age of 11, I'm a God, whether you paid for somebody to destroy your child. If you are busy making money, leave children alone. And for the women, no, Unless one makulu banesithukuthezi bakhona makulu banesithukuthezi. Bazaqala tu makulu mawushadile. Mntanam, wenze njani phela? Wenze abantu bejolo wenze njani phela? Lo mfana onesithukuthezi lo ukwenza umntana umnika ukuthi hlala nomntana ethi uyafuna. But ultimately, umntwana is your what? It's your responsibility. Now, do you know what generally? Now, some of you may not accept this, may be surprised by this. The study was done by Mana is that by the time they figure out age 14, they must have decided about Christ. Because if a man decided for Christ at the age of 14, after that. And that's, do you know what the age before, between 1 and 14, that's the age that's going away. And that's the crucial stage. That's the time when kids can accept Christ. Once they pass beyond 14. It's so easy to win children. You don't have to spend a lot of money, just have to love them. Teach them songs, teach them verses, teach them to love their parents, teach them how to pray. It's very easy. And they become staunch Adventists. Now, if you don't believe me, most of your leaders, I'm talking about leaders, capable, qualified leaders, who have made an impact in the Adventist church, were baptized before the age of 14. According to Papa is like 35 a leader in the church. It's too late. He has learned so many habits that are wrong. He can't be a leader. I'm serious. You can't be a leader of note who baptized at 36. Now, let me tell you before 36 do answer. Because it's a one as you leave, put low down toes. Who was a teach me some. But when you have them giving their hearts to Christ at an early age, you know, you're going to have a long mileage out of that child. You know, at 13, you've seen Abadana at 13, 14. All those kids are so religious. But forget to say, I'm saying, I don't buy the food. When we saw he was with God in Yemen for 30 years. I want to job at 50 I could cook. You job him shade. But I want to go and school lesson. The job is again, I will I'm a joker. But I was the job, so one is late, you job or teach shade. I call a mama, I shall back the job or because I forget anything person. If you say, well, you chocolate share, you system. You chocolate tea. Don't you work for Steve eyes on that guy. But who got converted in 13, 12, 14, who could have ever worked for Steve? I had a problem. I got you to us almost in getting a position. And I told us, I had to go so that you be chocolate. It's not in this system. If only we could focus our evangelism on that group, I've worked with children for a long time and I've been saying this throughout all my life, but it doesn't make any sense. I'm inconsequente, abantwana abantu bahleli basafuna ukwazi ukuthi Jesu phakathi kwesihlahla uthola abathakathi bonke bahleli abantwana bakaNkulunkulu bahleli phakathi kwesihlahla siyaba sonke bethu. But I'm happy in this committee, even as early as now, so Korinda abantwana. And I looked at the program, they are accommodated in the program, which is very good. All right? Make you appreciate that. All right. So those years are very important. I want to form characters. What they would say and decide about Christ is actually during those years. Do you know what even if a man who mentioned later on, usually it is because of those early years. That's why we move because of those early years. So you do not talk with those early years prayerfully. Do not talk praying hard, but be consistent. Because I'm not about more consistent. Be consistent, be firm, be kind. You will never regret. It's do your part. But if it's of Shalom and Zilut, it's going to be tough. So we need families so that they can learn to commune with God. They can learn to develop their capacity for relationship building. They are taught, they are socialized. If hooligans. Because my background is wrong. Just one about my case, what about root? And I call right by haphazard. What I'm going to call a situation that is unique, but you are more than to know what background is violent. Character building is encouraged, and families help in the character building of our children. And of course, this is where children learn to obey God. And when they obey the parent, to obey God. Yes, let me tell you something. Kids today don't obey anyone. Abana teacher, Abana mama, Abana President Zuma, Abana nothing. Because I pull up my car that are not structured. Ako. But what is it? You want to pull someone to Abana obedience him. Not the one I was in London and told you that I was sick. Now we'll bring up those kids. Mother not touch. You can't do anything. The church is not the lighthouse. The families are the lighthouses. You know, because there's no light in the church. The light you find in the church comes from the families. So you don't see a church like a big lighthouse. No, it's the families that are lighthouses. Is that okay? You are not going to bring many people to the church, Abashala, next door. You have to with densely populated areas. I find a lot of my Abashala in this place. But when you are next door, we have a like how to get in. We hear that shower and woman. Then the morning extend, Sawana Meron, 7 young boys. He was a Mashana Mother Subo. Some of them say, "Well, what's it?" This they are mocking you. They are mocking you. They are saying, Utandas, and they are Utandas. Now, how do you invite your neighbor to your church when you're beating your wife through the night? So, which one is the lighthouse? The church or the home? The family. So, your evangelism gets more effective when people can look at your family. What has it? They write their family. I wish my family have. Do you know who in your side, in your area, when you are a good family, about to come to you for counseling? Why am I the same as season? See, I'm in the postcards. Why does that? Because they see that you know how to live as a family. Is that okay? Now, it's all easy to invite those people to your home for lunch so they can see what is a home. Whatever I ask, you go to other homes. I could not concept the car. I'm fond of it. I'm going to see the songs that I'm going to do. Long and that's what I was not communication. He can manage a zone. So you invite them over. Have you seen Abanduana from other families? Then they get to know your children. Then they want to stay here. I was full of because they have never seen such an environment. I'm true, that's true, what I'm saying is true. So let us do this in our families. Let's invite those kids. We're just helping them to see what is a family. So So that when they shut right, if you buy the family, they follow the Gababu's wife. Why shall I opposite? You know? But if you are a shine, however, shine about the back, shine about kitchen strategy, you can't, and that's true by the way. But how? Because on my God, I'm hard melon. I went to a ranch. Melon, yeah, get a good melon. Melon is better also over fast. You have the concert. There you go. So you want to all right. Now, the work of bringing up children must never be left to the pastors. Because now I'm talking about. Do you know why I'm going to food is best taught? It is what I'm going to be. So if you put I know food is back in I back food, but because don't make the responsibility of bringing your children the responsibility of your food. Don't even make it the responsibility of God. I don't try for them to decide when I'm done. Who was decided? Why is the problem here? The church will support you. Kindergarten, credit roll, primary, what's the other one? Junior. They will have all the classes. They are helping you. They are not taking over from your work. Because we come to a committee in Abandon. So let's not have this in a swimmer release, swimming pool revive. We have a revive for January. When we remember some down revive, Power way on God, remember so revive. Your job now is to make sure that your child is revived. So when I'm out of God, we figure out how to make sure food is there. Do you know what about the servants? They struggle to work with those kids because I am responsible. And if you notice good, usually in our local churches that take care of our children, usually don't have children. Yeah, and if you notice how you struggle, I'm taking care of your children. No, I'm asking you so that they can to Mrs. Iman about this. Because they think it's your responsibility to bring up their children. In the lead shop. Because I full on Abazalba. Now, I was a young pastor, a peg, a chamber. Then we had a youth congress, we had a youth rally. I was very sharp then when I said, I didn't tell you at the same time. Said the writing. So the youth said, the youth rally. I think I'm not the ones who are youth to cause. You know, no one knows years on that. That hey, can't tell him there's some food is in the yaga, Ben, I'm listening to how can that be? How can you fight a person who says, I want to go help your child? Help me. It's not the responsibility of the church, it's your responsibility. The church is there to support you. So don't make the work of the church difficult by not cooperating. How is that? If you are too busy, what's the answer?
Don't have children.
Don't have children. Okay. Okay, let me give you some statistics. They say the primary influence in the child's life, five teenagers choose 5 greatest religious influences in their lives. We have Makatan, number 2, Ubaba, number 1, Mom. Teenagers are influenced by their parents. You have no idea the role you play. And some of the parents are just like teenagers. 3 things. I gave you dad 1, I gave you mom, no, dad 2. Mom number 1. That is why mama, because mama, I have a serious influence on my. So Tinabo, when we look for a wife, we must look for a mother of my children. Don't just look for a wife. So when you look for a wife, think about your children, because they won't choose a mother. You are choosing a mother for them. Choose where. Don't be selfish. And just choose for yourself. Choose for your children. But when you make a right choice, Abadan will say, wow, Daddy, how you chose the best mother for us. And they bless your name. Oh, now mama, I don't share this kewega man. Also abuse Abadan. We have a mama, I was 71. After I think I'm so like, hey, I'm telling you, I'm like, are you okay? I come to our part. I'm not a joke that how can you marry a person also end up abuse about I can say but you brought a man in your home that is abusing your children. And your children say, Mama, your husband did this to me. You chose him. I mean, you don't have a kettle of meat, because of Bulani Samadona. I mean, you should make it desperate. All right. You talk about revival at home. Those little things. When kids see mom and dad go to church, they get revived. Just to see you go to church, probably 1, 2, it's nice. Now, I never experienced that sort of the house, but I think it's nice. Actually, it's nice, it's beautiful. But at least let's make sure that experience it. Because disappointed when we want the opposite. But why there's something wrong in bonds. Massively shut down about because. So it's about the bus of us work because now. Some value. Just like a all right. When you see mom and dad pray, not when we pray as a family, when you see mom and dad pray, it gives you strength. And this is of those who once saw their mother and their father praying together. Oh, that's beautiful. It just warms your heart. Just to see the people, I'm not divorced. I'm not divorced. When my mother prays with my father, then we are all okay. What happens when the child sees the mother and the father fighting? He gets sick, the child. Spoiler, I told her 2 out of 10. Affected a fight yesterday. Do you know that? But what happens when the child sees mama and daddy praying? Number 1 classic. It's because you and the wife are praying. Alright? I'm going to give you another 8 things you can do at home to make sure to create a climate of a home. Alright? Now, they must write those things. Alright? Because they see alright? What else can you do? These are your grandchildren. You must take care of them. You must take care of them. Alright? Okay. You know what they say? You won't believe this. They say teens who are close to their parents are more likely to choose purity. They are less likely to become pregnant or cause pregnancy. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed. But once abantwana basondele, they have a close relation with the parents, likelihood is that they will choose purity. They will not be pregnant just because of the close relationship. That's why they're very close to mom. Just mom time as another mom was the truth. Even when they are close to a praying mother and their friends, it's rare to find them pregnant. Then a relationship. I'm not talking about a mother who's an Adventist, who mama had to cast. Not that only, but a closeness between the mother, between the parents and the child has a disciplining effect. It helps the child to grow strong once they're close. Because we disappoint our mom. I can tell you now of my own story. I grew up in Cape Town, Kubuleti. My father was not an Adventist for some time until 2 years before he died. So we grew up in one home, no father not going to church. Now how do you feel when you are putting your suit, TV, or when you're posing? It doesn't feel good. So as a result, we never used to go to church, but my mother would try and encourage us. So that makes life difficult. So you see why I'm dingy, because I come from that kind of a family. I need to pray for it. So I grew up in that environment. So I was very close. I love my mom, and she knows I do, even now. Let me give you an incident that happened when I was young. Some of you may know this. I picked up a cigarette, it says shy, it says half lit, and a matches. If you try to furnish the next door. So I picked that up, put it in my pocket. It is like so neither somebody or shy. So bring a child. So I want to give it to somebody or child. But I caution. So my mother was emptying my pockets as a shabby bag. Ofuma the cigarette. It's chai way. I made cheese. I have the same question. So yeah, what the hell? Tell me. So we are child, man. We are child, man. Hey, it is true, but now I call it. But you are it is so. How do I explain this? But it's true. What did he talk? I try to look good too. But it doesn't sound good, we should enough. But it was true. So one of the things is silent. So that it's over. Because how do I explain this? So I said, you know what, Mom, I don't smoke. I picked that thing up in the friend. Now the story I see for last time. A friend of mine, I go to again, I caught. So my mother is looking at me like this. And I'm saying, I won't blame you if you don't believe me. Because now I wouldn't believe myself. So she says to me, okay, I thought you are smoking. She believed me. And I went outside. I said, my mother believes. I will never disappoint you. So a few years later, I was away in a school in the East Continent, far 1,300 kilometers away from home. And my friends everywhere around me were smoking cigarettes and dark and drinking. I never drank. Not because I had Christ in my heart, because I had my mother in my heart. I said I would never disappoint my mother. If I had born with you don't know the influence parents have on their children. Trust your children and they'll become trustworthy. Pregnant when I know too. Trust. The worst thing that can happen is for you to be disappointed. Trust. Alright? Okay. We talk about missionaries and revival. Listen to this statement from Mary. Best missionaries come from Christian homes. Best missionaries come from Christian homes. Abutua missionaries come from Christian homes. The best. But the best ones come from Christian homes. Missionaries for the master are best prepared for work in Christian household, where God is loved, where God is worshipped, where faithfulness has become second nature. You know, there are mothers and fathers, I'm sure, thieves. Understand the holiday in some shit as a holiday in they are Georgia. Now you have a home of thieves, and the child grows from that home of thieves. He grows up, stealing becomes second nature. Because stealing in your home is second nature. But here they say, well, faithfulness is second nature. Ekaya umama utemba gege, no baba utemba gege. Akuti mabuzu utati ati mama iti andiko. Second nature. Amanda iti andiko. Ati baba utu mama gege. The next thing we have shy was we have and the next thing, Master Kulmamana, who would hey, man, what I think I'll tell you, but I'm not sure. You know, after this from verse 3:17 to 3:19, if fathers and mothers are true Christians in the family, they will be useful members of the church. Talk about revival. If you are revived at home, you will bring revival into the church. And they will be able to conduct their affairs in the church, in the society, after the same manner in which they conduct their family affairs. That's what she says. If there were more genuine home religion, there would be more power in the church. There is no power in the church because there is less genuine religion. From home,